friends get together so they can try things. You're invited to this podcast so that you can try things. Now we will stop singing so that we can all now try this.
Hello and welcome to Now Try This, the podcast where two best friends get together every week to try something new. I'm Marcus, and that's Nick.
Hello, guys. I am Nick. Oh, I am looking at the stream. I am blurry. Why am I blurry?
I have no idea why you're
We're not going
blurry.
to figure it out this time. I'm blurry. This is Now Try This. We challenge each other to try things. What does that mean? Every week, we take something that has affected our hearts in a significant way, one way or the other, and we make the other person watch it. Oh, look, now I'm
Hell
frozen.
yeah. Oh, there you go. What is happening with the internet, man?
It's not my internet's fine. I don't know what's happening. Okay.
Oh,
Guys,
you came back.
This is Now Try This. We try things. We challenge each other every week. This week, Marcus has challenged me to try something. He has challenged me to try a silent voice, the anime film. But in a little bit, at the beginning of August, you guys get to decide what we're going to try. That's right. At patreon.com/nowtrythiscast, if you donate just $1, you get to vote every month to decide what challenge we are going to be doing. Something we haven't seen, something we have seen. You can pick whatever you want. And if you donate $5, you are very special because Marcus will personally send you a thank you note and
100%.
and you get to make submissions on what those votes are for. And for this month, we just posted a whole bunch of stuff that was submitted to us by our fans. And if you jump in there, you can still have time to vote. Now,
Yeah, I will look at, hold on, I'm pulling up the Patreon now because I want to take a look and give our listeners a little insight into what they can look forward to.
I don't think you're going to be excited at what's winning. I just looked 2 hours ago.
Okay, so right now we have a few options available to us.
Uh-huh.
The submissions this month were Black Phone, March Comes In Like a Lion, Motherland, Fort Salem, No Country for Old Men, and Cha Cha Real Smooth. So right now, in the lead is Black Phone, which is a movie I did want to see. So
Oh, okay. I thought you said you didn't want to see it.
I do want to see it. I'm interested in it. So we'll
Okay.
see what happens. Cha
Well,
Cha
I
Real
voted
Smooth
for
sounds good.
Motherland.
For Motherland, Fort Salem.
I sure did.
That's a good vote. That
That's-
show looks
that's
kind of
what I thought.
cool.
I
That
think
show
we're
looks
gonna have a
kinda
lot
good.
of fun talking about it. Is what I think. Is what I think. But guys, if you have an opinion, come and let us know at Now Try This Cast and join our Patreon to join the conversation. But before we get to that, Marcus, I'm gonna tell you what your challenge is next week.
Okay.
Now,
What-
I went through it this week,
Uh-huh.
thinking about what to give you because I had vacation. I had a lovely time, and I was thinking about what to give you. And I thought, wow, I could give Marcus a horror film that we're both going to watch this weekend. Nope, and
Uh-huh.
have tons of fun talking about
Oh,
it and
yeah.
dissecting it. Like obviously, easy.
Yeah, easy
Nope,
peasy.
I'm not giving you that. I could have gave you
No.
Thor, Love and Thunder. We both just saw it. I have a lot of opinions on it. I liked a lot of it. I didn't like a lot of it. I would love to talk about it in a fashion such as ours.
Yeah.
Not gonna give that to you either. I also saw Top Gun. It is the highest grossing movie of the summer.
Would
It
get
is
us tons
kicking-
of downloads.
I loved the movie. It was fantastic. I was so surprised how much I loved it. It would legitimately be a good challenge to give you. I'm not giving you that either. Marcus, I am giving you maybe the weirdest challenge I have ever
What?
given you.
No.
Marcus, there's this little company called Wormwood.
Uh-huh.
And they just revealed a Kickstarter to make
Okay.
a Games Master, a DM screen, which is very cool. They just
Mhm.
raised tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars to make these finely crafted pieces of things. But you might be thinking, how can we do a Kickstarter? That doesn't make any sense. We can't do
Yeah.
a product. We are, because they have a YouTube channel where they release 3 videos a week. And they have been showing us the process of conception all the way to the Kickstarter for this product. And they've done this for all their products. And it's something that I watch 3 times a week, every week. And I'm going to make you watch the evolution and the journey to this GM screen. So next week, we are doing Worm Life, the YouTube channel that is a commercial for the Wormwood brand, which is handcrafted wood products for D&D players.
Remember when Twilight almost made the podcast stop? I feel like this is going to be a close contender.
I'm sorry, Marcus. You don't want to watch. minutes and minutes of people making wood products.
You gave me a commercial for a challenge. It's a commercial. If they don't fucking sponsor us for this
Oddly
episode,
enough, it's not our first commercial we've done on the podcast. We did a recipe for seduction.
That's true. That was a cause commercial. I will be mad, Nick. That was a Patreon. We had our hands were tied. Okay. This is you. You're a human being.
Sure.
With options.
Mm-hmm.
Thor.
Yep.
The movie Nope.
Yeah.
Top Gun.
All solid choices.
Solid.
Good download numbers in the zeitgeist. People want to hear us talk about it. And guys, if you want to, go to patreon.com/nowtrythiscast. Maybe we'll do a special extra episode just because you want to hear it about these new top summer blockbuster movies. But nope. And not the movie. Nope. We are going to be doing next week Worm Life. I will send you a playlist of the specific YouTube videos you have to watch, but we are going to be watching the idea form all the way to the Kickstarter that just launched for Wormwood.
Nick, if you could do me a solid, I don't normally ask for favors on the podcast, I guess in life either, but can you please message one of them to be on the episode as a guest?
I'll talk to them as much as I can.
Everything we've ever done on this podcast, this is the most doable as in terms of getting a guest on the show related to the topic.
I will talk to them. I will see what I can do.
Okay. Wormwood, if you're listening, fucking do it. We got downloads. We're so popular and famous.
But that is what we're doing next week. Hopefully we have something to do with them involved. If not, we'll just watching their YouTube channel. Our first YouTube challenge. Oh, interesting, right? Yeah, you wanted to give me YouTube things, but you never quite have.
Yeah.
So that is next week. But this week you have given me a silent voice. Marcus, why have you given me this film? I figure you want to get right into it. We can banter back and forth if you'd like to.
I don't need to get super into it. Like, we could get into it, but I feel like this is the first time, one of the first times that we're doing a big thing that I feel like why is going to be like a half hour of me talking. So I'm always, so if you got more banter,
listen, I could tell you about my trip to Tulum, Mexico. I was there for a week. I could tell you what I did for work today. I was in another commercial.
For what? Are you allowed to say?
RIP medical debt. And the commercial concept was a Grey's Anatomy spoof trailer, but it wasn't for a hospital. It was for the medical debt collectors and how ridiculous it is that it's a job and what they do, but in the style of Grey's. So we were like doing a very serious, and I had 3 lines.
Oh shit, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
It's my biggest one so far.
They can cut one of your lines. They can't cut all 3.
They consecutive lines? Paid me. No, I was in 2 different scenes.
That's big money.
I'm pretty sure they might cut one of them.
Which
because
one
of
are they gonna cut?
How quick. I said I really dislike that guy. That was the line. And it's so funny when you do these big shoots because they're so big budget. We were in a WeWork. There's all these lights, these expensive Red cameras. You know the company Red for cameras. Like, it's a legit freaking thing. And they spent an hour setting up the shot for 3 lines back and forth. And they spent hour setting up everything, making the lights, making everything. Literally, they took a light and they put what do you call the thing you put on a light that has little cutouts on it to make it look like leaves and shit?
Gobo?
A gobo. They literally put a gobo on the wall so it looked like sunlight was cut. They did all this shit. They did 4 takes of the 3 lines. It took 6 minutes, maybe.
I love it. I love it.
Only 6 minutes because in between they like rearrange the lights and stuff.
I love it.
There was one rehearsal, say the lines, they're like, good, do it like that. And then I did the line, and then they changed the lights, and then they did the line, and then they changed the camera, and then I did the line, and then he said, no, but say it like, I really dislike that guy. And I was like, okay, and I did the line, and then I was done. That was right. It's so wild. They don't care about the part that's important, or I'm amazing, and I got it right away.
That might have been it. I think we'll see. We'll see on the when it comes out.
We'll see on the edit when it comes out. And I could tell you more about Tulum, but Marcus, I can't banter anymore because this movie was such a choice by you. You have been talking about giving this to me for a long time. I love these kinds of movies. I specifically have not watched this film because I knew it was important to you and you were going to give it to me someday. I've avoided it for years.
100%.
For years.
Yeah.
And
So
I finally watched it.
in terms of this podcast, right? Like we started this podcast together because I basically wanted you to watch
Yeah,
Berserk.
we were both there.
I wanted you to watch Berserk. I feel like was the main thing, or read it or whatever. And then we were talking about it, and it was like, okay, there's things you want me to watch in exchange, maybe we force each other and do a show. And that's how this started.
It was all your idea. It was all your idea to be on the reg. No. We were talking about doing a show. I had some shitty ideas, and then you said, "How about now try this?" And you gave the pitch, and I was like, "You should be making more money somewhere. You do not make enough money. You're not in the right career because you just came up. How about now try this? We do this thing." And I'm like, "That's so bankable. That's the show.
That's the show."
Did it.
Old Man Rom, you were just that good. They didn't want to lose the magic take. That's fair. It could be that too. So this, I would say, A Silent Voice is one of the biggest challenges I am giving you because it literally changed my life. And on that note, Nick Nieves, thanks for subscribing. Remember to use your Amazon Prime subscription. But Nick, the reason it changed my life is very depressing. So I've looked up a list of jokes to tell. And so if the podcast gets too sad, in the chat, you can request a joke and we'll tell a joke from the list.
How do you request a joke? Do you just put request joke?
I didn't program it. I was going to program it, but I didn't have time. So you can just ask for a joke and I will read one from the list. Do you want to hear a joke?
Someone looks like Nick Nieves has requested one, so you have to.
What do you call the joke that isn't funny?
What?
A sentence. These are anti-jokes, which I guess maybe defeat the purpose, but they made you laugh and they make me laugh.
It's my favorite kind of joke, and you know this. So
100%.
you crushed it.
100%. Okay.
So Marcus, how did this change your life? What's going on?
So A Silent Voice. So oh my god, where do I start?
Do you want me to tell them what it is first? To like give you a little
let's do that. Let's get into it.
So A Silent Voice is it's a Japanese anime film by Kyoto Animation, directed by Naoko Yamada, and it came out in 2016. It's based off of manga, and it tells the story about how this boy was a bully to this girl that is deaf, and about his journey of not retribution, of what's the R word? What's restore? What's the R word to like to get dignity back, to like redeem. It's his journey to redemption.
Got it.
Of having bullied this girl. And to say any more would almost be a spoiler because honestly, I almost knew all of that, and I'm glad I didn't know anything because this journey is only about the journey. It's not about 100%. So if you have not watched this film, this is not the episode of ours to listen to. A lot of them, you don't need to have watched the thing. Some mild spoilers, whatever. Please stop listening to the podcast. Sincerely, go watch A Silent Voice, and then come back here to have Marcus explain to you why he can't.
Okay. So A Silent Voice deals with some hard issues, and we're going to talk about those issues. So this is sort of like a trigger warning. We're going to be talking about suicide and stuff like that today. And so the movie came out in America. There was a theatrical release in 2017. And 2017 was the year that I decided to change my entire life. At the time, I was in a bad relationship. I'm not going to say any names or anything like that, just because of the Johnny Depp trial. I don't want to be sued for defamation. So I was in a bad relationship with someone who I should not have been in a relationship with. Then I also was like 400 pounds. I think like I was 380 exactly at that point.
You can round up.
I was like 400 pounds. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was so depressed, so anxious. I like couldn't bring myself to do anything. I was barely leaving my room. And since I was in a controlling relationship, I wasn't really like a lot of times necessarily allowed to leave the room either. And so I was just kind of like stuck in a lot of ways. And so I, was suicidal at the time. And it's something that I would think about like every single day. Like a day would not pass by that I would not think about killing myself. And it was just something that was so normalized for me that I would joke about it a lot. You know that you were there for a lot of it. And I decided to get help. And so I got a therapist. and I started changing my life like a little bit. I mainly was the therapist, and I started like going through the process of trying to lose weight and all that stuff. And at the time, I had sort of like, I was in that, and my partner, the person I was dating, didn't like any of that. So she was really against me making positive changes in my life. And she would say, like, well, when you lose weight, you're going to leave me. When you like get therapy, that your therapist is going to tell you that you should leave me. Like all this stuff she was saying to me. And it just was like messing with my head a lot. And so we ended up breaking up. Won't go into more details about that, but basically ended up sort of like half breaking up, where I was like, I don't want you to stay in the house tonight, because if you remember, since you and I were roommates, she was living in the house and claiming that she didn't live there.
No. She was there 5 or 6 days a week. She would clean our bathroom. She would cook in our kitchen. She had rules about the bathroom and kitchen that we all had to follow. She didn't live there, though.
She just controlled everything that all of us did and made our lives.
She dictated when we were allowed to hang out. Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
But she didn't live there.
But she didn't live there. No, God forbid. So then, I was like, look, basically what ended up happening was my grandma was in the hospital. She had cancer and she was dying, and I was upset about it. And I looked to her for comfort, and she was like not having any of it. And then she said something that was like really fucked up and mean. It was like, you're like getting too fat, or it was like something like that had like, I don't know, it was bad. And it was like made me angry. And I was like, of all the days for you to be mean to me, I was like, normally I can take it, but I was like, I can't today, and I need you to go home. And she was like, what? You're kicking me out of the house? And I was like, yeah, I'm sorry. Like, you just need to not be here. And so she left, she packed up all her stuff, and then she took that as us breaking up. And then afterwards,
and I feel like maybe you half wanted to, but you're also kind of scared to like,
oh yeah, 100%.
Right?
I wanted to break up. Yeah, I definitely wanted to break up before that. It was just like, I was
But in
scared.
that moment, you're like, no, I don't.
Yeah, they needed therapy. And my therapist was like, she sucks. Get rid of her. Okay, cool. I thought you were supposed to be impartial, but that's fine.
She's like, no.
And so then we had, some time passed. I was dealing with my grandma and stuff like that. And she had reached out to me. And she was like, look, I was wondering if maybe we could like grab dinner and go see something. And I was like, okay, well, like there's this movie, A Silent Voice, that I have been meaning. Was going to go see by myself, but like if you wanted to go together, we could go see it. And I went to go see it, and I was
by yourself,
like,
or
with her.
With her.
I went to go see it, and I was so consumed by the film. I have never watched a film that has spoken to me so directly, especially in sort of like the height of me wanting to change my life, but still suffering from depression and all of that stuff that I was going through. I had never seen a film that so accurately displayed what it's like to be in that sort of depressive state where you can't look people in the eye. Like we'll go into more later, but like when the film pans down and he's constantly looking at people's feet and seeing X's on people's faces, I was like, that is how I experience the world. Like I look down, I can't look people in the eye. I see more of people's feet than I do their faces. And that just like really resonated with me. The whole film resonated with me. After we left, after the movie ended, she was like, wow, like I really didn't like that movie. And I was like, fuck, man, it was wonderful. And then I was like, I was just so moved by the film that I was like, I need to make a change in my life. Like I was on sort of like the precipice of it, but I was like, I really, really need to be all in on these changes. Otherwise, I'm not going to stick the landing. Otherwise, nothing is going to change for me. And it's going to be me saying again, I need to lose weight. I need to do this. I need to do that. And not actually taking any action. So this movie made me take action. And so that same day, I broke up with her, never saw her again, like stopped contact entirely. And just that was sort of the beginning of like the rest of my life, about me like losing weight and getting fit and getting a better job and like making huge movements in my life. And so I feel like I credit this movie. I mean, obviously I did a lot of hard work, but I credit this movie with really pushing me in that direction.
Yeah, so this movie's about this shitty person who like gets redeemed for like still being a shitty person. Like, what a movie!
Yes. So like,
Joking aside, joking aside,
I don't relate to the movie in terms of that stuff.
No. I think there's so much to say about the movie, but first I do want to share. Thank you for sharing, and it's brave of you, and I'm proud of you, and I'm not gonna spend 20 minutes explaining my story. I've done it on the podcast before, but I will say I do want you to know that all that I saw is one of the most impactful, and I'm talking about you as a person. Your journey has been one of the most impactful things in my life, because you also know I wasn't in a great place around the same time. Misery enjoys company. Maybe that's why we've been able to be such great friends, because we don't talk about it, but we get it. And I've gone through a big shift and change in my life in the last few years, and because of that, and you credit this movie, and sure, the straw that breaks the camel's back, you credit the straw, but it's all those years on the camel's back that really does the damage, or really does the hard work, and that was you. And everything you're describing is such a downplay on what you've actually accomplished, because the things you've done is something that I think most people couldn't do, and I think most people wouldn't have gotten out, and I think most people couldn't never relate to or see the things that you've seen and done. And seeing you do all that is one of the reasons why I credit being alive today. And I just want you to know that out of everything in my life, our friendship is something I'm the most proud of, and you're one of the people that is my hero, because I know the spot you were in, and I know the place you were at, and the place you are now is so wonderful and inspiring. And so I want you to know that the journey you've done is seen and heard, and the world is lucky that you're a part of it.
Nick, what do you call a pencil sharpener that can't open pencils? That can't sharpen pencils?
I don't know, Marcus. What do you call it?
Broken.
Oh. So
I love you. I'm glad that I can do that for you. I appreciate it. And you know what? Then also through the transitive property, you got to credit this movie.
How funny.
But yeah, no. So like you kind of touched on a little bit, like the main character is a bully and kind of is dealing with a whole part of that. But I didn't relate to any of that shit. It was all the depression part of it that I was like really took in and I really resonated with.
It's one of those stories where, because it's so specific, nobody is going through this exact journey that Show is going through. Nobody. It's so specific.
100%.
But because it's so specific, it's so real and authentic. So whilst your journey was different, while my journey is different, while everyone who sees this journey is different, you're able to find parts of it about what he's going through and the life he's leading that you're able to like push in and like adapt to how you're seeing it yourself, even though we haven't all bullied a deaf girl in elementary school. But I will say, I'm sure there are people that have, and they're awful people, just like Shoyo is. But how interesting for a movie, because every movie we've seen this movie before about bullies, right? But it would follow Shoko. It would follow the bully, not the buller.
100%. Yeah,
it's following the bully from the whole movie. And I didn't think it would be like this at the start. The movie starts and I was like, great, we're gonna like go back and forth, and it's like, no, you idiot, we're gonna follow Shoyo the whole time. And I was really surprised by that.
Yeah, it's interesting too, because it's like you'd never really see that, like you said, but also I feel like a lot of movies, when they try to redeem somebody, they half-ass it. where they're just like everyone automatically gives them their forgiveness. And I'm like, did they earn it? And I feel like in this movie, you see that he is trying. In the beginning, they kind of give it to him a little too quickly, but then the movie has a point in which he's like, no, like, okay, he's still kind of falling into his like negative habits and he actually needs to change. And then from that point forward, he does.
I think that's the most interesting aspect of this movie. And we're going to jump around because this is covering the beginning to the end of the movie. What I'm about to say is, I think the journey, I think it's a big part of Japanese animated films. It's always about a journey. It's always about like a long road. It's why there's these long spanning shots and they take their time more though than I feel like American cinema does. But the whole movie, it doesn't, it's like you said, it's just so not clean cut. It's not like he's depressed and he's suicidal and bad things are happening and then an inciting moment happens and then he lives his best life. It's like the whole movie, he's still not there. Yeah. And I think that's where the beauty of the movie is, where it's reminding you that if you're having trouble, if you're not there, if you're suicidal, if you aren't a good person, that it's not about having a life-altering moment and promising God that tomorrow you're going to be still good, because that happens in this movie. There's a life-altering moment. He prays to God and he's like, God, I'll do it. I'll do the thing. I'll be better. And then literally after everything happens, he's like, wow, I suck. I still can't do it. And it reminds you, it's like, of course you can't. It's a long, long journey and you're going to fuck up again and again and again and again and again. But that doesn't mean you stop. Yeah. That's what gives you the power to keep going. Yeah. The want for the change, not the actual change. The actual change is long and hard, and you don't see it until years go by and you look at a picture of yourself that you were 400 pounds and you're like, whoa, that's right. I've come so far. Yeah. Even though today here while we're sitting, we still like, no, I'm depressed. Things suck. Things are hard. But then you look back and you're like, oh, right. I've been on such a journey. Yeah. And that's what this movie's about. It's not about being a good person. It's about being a person. It's about the journey, and it's wild. I think that you're absolutely right about that, because it's like you look at yourself and you're like, what the fuck, like I have changed. Watching this movie was a great indicator. Like I've never rewatched this movie since the initial viewing, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna feel all these feelings again, and I didn't, because like I appreciated this movie still, and I still really do like this movie. But it didn't hit me in the same way that it did before, because I'm not in the same place. I'm in like a much better place. I'm much happier. I'm doing well. And it's like all of those aspects in which I was like, this movie is something that I am currently experiencing, just weren't there. And it was really interesting to see the movie from a different perspective because of that. Yeah, agreed. And I feel like Japanese media is like much better, I'll use the term better than American media at capturing this sort of like nuance, I feel. Because the same thing happens in Your Name too, where it's like it feels like a long movie, but it feels like it's on purpose, you know? And it feels like they're making deliberate choices to show you these scenes. It feels more lived in than a lot of worlds do, because it takes its time. I will say one negative, this movie is maybe 10-15 minutes too long. I agree. Just like 100%. A little bit. Just like a little bit. Just like a little bit. Yeah. But same thing. Have you watched Drive My Car? No, but I hear that's the same. It's the same exact thing. It's like these three movies. We've watched a lot of Japanese content, but it's like in the movie department, they're like, they languish. They take their time. Yeah, I mean, I love Your Name. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. And I love that extra 15-20 minutes because it's my favorite thing in the world. Yeah. But I couldn't argue with you that maybe the movie would benefit for some people by being just a little shorter. Yeah, 100%. I was watching this with Lexi and I was like, oh man, she needs this movie to be about 15 minutes shorter. Yeah. But Darren, I get it. Daron says the last 15 minutes of Drive My Car were an hour long. 100%. 100%. But besides that, I don't have a lot of negatives because I think the movie is just so deliberate. Every and I think that's something you get from anime. That's something you get from animation, right? Because
Oh,
there
yeah.
are no, you have to draw it. There's not,
That's
you
a
have
good
to
point.
make the picture.
Yeah.
There's not like, I don't know, let me go like film the car because it's there, or like do a weird insert shot because it's like, I don't know, let me get this insert of the car, the key going in the
Yeah.
car, and maybe I'll use it, maybe I won't. This one's like, no,
100%.
right here, I need a drawing of the key going in the car.
Yeah, there aren't like too many deleted scenes in animation because, yeah, you're
No.
absolutely right. When they film a movie, they film a lot of extra content, and that's why you
Yeah.
get things like the Snyder Cut or whatever, because you're just like, fucking, we
Yeah.
filmed everything. But with animation, they're deliberate. You're drawing it, and maybe they cut a thing here or there, but it is
Sure.
minor.
Yeah. So I think all this movie is, and I think that's why it's this version of this medium is the perfect to capture what happened in the manga and into the anime, as opposed to like if they made this live action, I think it'd be fine. It'd be cool. It'd be whatever.
Yeah.
But like there's just so many moments of like pause and breath of like trying to understand Shoko.
Mm-hmm.
Us trying
Yeah.
to understand her, because we don't. I don't know sign. And there are moments when she's speaking where I don't understand her 100%. And there's all these moments where they're not giving me subtitles. They're not giving me, and there's like looks. There's like communication happening in looks and like mood, because they're trying to figure out different ways to communicate. And I'm sitting there captivated by the nuance and the subtlety of the looks and the hairbrushes and the size and the look down and look ups. Like they're all so beautifully placed and precise that I didn't have any trouble understanding Shoko or Shoyo or anybody, even though there was this barrier. Like there's this very human aspect of it, which is funny because it's animated.
Yeah.
But it's a very human aspect that was beautiful.
Yeah.
And trying to understand these people.
I think that this movie was handled incredibly well too. Like the art is gorgeous, and right now it's currently, I think it's number 2 on my anime list in terms of like top anime movies that exist, and it's number 1 in terms of movies not based on an anime series.
Perfect Blue, is that number 1?
No, number 1 is Gintama.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, it's just based on an anime.
Oh,
yeah,
gotcha.
Perfect Blue should be number 1. That's just good.
Perfect Blue is fantastic. So is Your Name, so is this. I think they're all in pleasant company with each other.
Yeah. Your Name, I think, is like 4 or 5 on the same list.
Oh, Old Man Ram asked if we've read the manga. We have not. Have you? You haven't.
It's mostly pretty faithful, but leaves out the probably unnecessary making a student film subplot. Okay, that's fair enough. I haven't read it.
Who makes
I thought about
Old Man
buying
Ram?
it.
Do you know who makes a student film? Like what character? I'm curious.
Yeah, which character makes the nerdy guy has to be. No,
is it his best friend?
The sister?
Could be the
She's one
sister,
with
could be the best friend, could be the jerky girl, it could be anybody. I don't fucking know. They all make sense.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think if we can talk about the bullying, because I think bullying's hard to do because nowadays we're just so adverse to it. Like when we see it like in such in your face, his friend. Oh, it's the nerdy friend. Yeah.
Oh, because
So
you're
all of them
saying
make the film.
because bullying is
Interesting.
like they're immediately the villain.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nowadays,
Yeah.
like it's the jock comes in and says, "Yo, oh, skinny Peter Parker." And it's like, got it. He's a bully. He's the jerk. Got it.
Mhm.
Understood.
Yeah.
But this movie really goes into, and I don't think I've seen it too much because most high school movies are just, it's like tropes, right? Of
Yeah.
the jock and the bully.
Yeah.
This one, bullying happens like this, where maybe there's an instigator and a big shot that's the main bully, but
Yeah.
it's the whole class
Yeah.
that bullies her. Every single person in that class, the way they laugh, the way they talk, the way they say shitty things that only a kid could say,
Mhm.
almost.
Psychopaths. Kids are
Kinda.
psychopaths. You
Kinda.
can't convince me otherwise. I love them. I want kids of my own, but they're psychopaths.
Yeah. When you leave them, it's that Lord of the Flies thing, right?
Mhm. Oh,
you
yeah.
get all the kids,
Yeah.
kids on an island. They're gonna fucking kill each other.
Yeah. Mhm.
That's what it feels like in here. I mean, the teacher's useless, but all the kids are being shitty. And I love that the movie doesn't lose sight of that, because
Yeah.
the movie is saying Shoyo's the bully. He fucked up. This is his redemption story. But like the other girl, the dark-haired girl, and then when he calls out the blonde girl. When he calls her
Yeah.
out for saying, "You laughed.
Yeah.
You laughed.
You were a
you
part
were
of it."
there.
And she's like,
you
no.
were a part of it." And she was like, no. And he was like, yes, you were.
Yeah.
And then that felt awful because then they doubled down against Shoyo. They
Yeah,
made him
yeah,
villain
yeah.
more. And I was like, no, he's making progress. Stop. But
yeah.
they nailed that. I'm sure
did.
have you experienced that? I don't know if you've, I mean, I've told the story on the podcast before,
Mhm.
but I don't know if you've experienced this. I've been bullied. NM Jesse was the name of my prominent bully in elementary school, but everyone bullied me to the point where all the boys in the class wrote a letter from my crush, Jordan Novelli, put it in my cubby, and told me to meet her in the park.
Oh no.
And I went to the park, and I was there
know
in the park
this.
waiting for an hour in the cold,
Oh,
playing my Game Boy. I was playing Pokemon Silver, I think.
Oh no.
In the cold. And I never told anybody in the class that I went, because then they told me, oh, you didn't go, but we all did it. Ha ha ha. And Joseph, my best friend, we were both groomsmen at his wedding,
Yeah.
was one of the kids. Every single one of the people in the class. All
Wow.
the boys in the class except me.
Wow. Just as Joseph's like Shoyo.
Oh, kind of. A little bit. But yeah, that hive mind. I don't know. Have you ever experienced? I don't know. I don't really know what your I think you were. I don't really know your bullying. Have you been bullied or?
So basically I grew up in an abusive home, and so all of my focus was on surviving that and getting to school. I was like bullied, but I was so happy to not be home that I was like, I don't care.
Okay.
I was like, yeah, bully me. Say I'm like fat. Say like I can't dress well. Like this is better than what I got going at home. So fucking lay it on, baby.
I've never heard a sadder response to the question, have you been bullied? And your response is yes, thank God.
I would have been a furry if I wasn't bullied. Come on. Who knows what would have happened? No.
That's true.
Who
But
knows?
I just want to get your the thing that I think is the most
Hold on
What?
before we move on. Do you have more jokes? Yeah, sure. Hold on. Let me get a
sure.
joke.
Okay. What's the next one?
What do you call a talking turtle?
A freak?
Fictional.
Oh. That's close.
Why did the dinosaur say hello to the little girl?
Why?
Yeah.
To eat her?
He was being polite.
That was a good one.
You know what's really odd?
What?
Numbers that aren't divisible by 2.
Jesus Christ, get out of here. That was the worst one. That was stop. That was the end of it. That was the last one of this round. I can't handle more. I can't handle more. But talk to me about the characters, Marcus. Who'd you relate to? What'd you think of Shoyo, Shoko?
So I think that I mentioned earlier, I think Shoyo I really, really resonated with. Like, I think he was kind of really in his depression. I think we didn't really talk about it, but the movie starts off with him walking up to a bridge and then deciding that he's going to kill himself, and then taking it back. He had a calendar. He ripped off all the other months. Yeah.
He had 2 weeks. He had 2 weeks of things to do before he did it, like cancel a cell phone plan, quit his job, give his mom back the money. And then he literally on the 15th was the final day, and he ripped out everything past that. And it was decided, which is, they got that right. When you finally decide to kill yourself, something that a lot of people don't know because they're not suicidal or haven't had to go through the that process. I don't know what to call it, that tragedy.
Yeah.
And the only reason I know is because I used to help with a suicide hotline. But when someone has decided to do it, everything changes. It's not moody. They're not sad. They seem fine.
Yeah, 100%.
But
they might even seem happy.
But the key to seeing is trying to notice these final things, wrapping everything up before they go. Yeah. And the movie nailed it. That somberness.
Yeah. And it was interesting too, right? Because he was like leaving, he left his mom money that he owed her and like this whole thing. And then he was planning on killing himself. He didn't. So he ends up going back home, and his mom confronts him. And
she figured it out. Yeah.
And she figured it out. And she's like,
almost too late.
Yeah. And also another interesting thing is I feel like when it's been on your mind for so long, it's something that you talk about casually. And in that scene, he's really talking about it casually with his mom. He's like, yeah, I was gonna, but I decided not to. Like, that's real. You know, when it's something you live with every single day and it becomes the norm, you just talk about it with like no weight whatsoever.
Yeah, agreed. That's
I
totally right.
I love so many of the things that they captured that were like just fucking spot on, absolutely spot on.
And I think another thing that was really spot on, which we haven't talked about at all yet, because honestly, Shoyo is a great protagonist. He was super captivating the whole film. Is Shoko. Shoko
Yeah.
as a character is fascinating. It's such a a case study on what a person with a disability feels, and they feel like a burden. The
Mhm.
whole movie, she didn't hate anybody.
Yeah.
She wasn't mad at anyone. She had every right to hate Shoyo, to hate her friends, the people in
Yeah.
the class. She had every reason to hate everybody, and she never did.
No.
She just felt sorry for the fact that she was the burden.
Yeah.
And that, for me, was almost as heartbreaking as the main thrust of the story of his
Mhm.
suicide, because
Yeah.
like this poor girl has this like heart of gold, and she's just trying to like live her life, and she just can't.
Yeah. Shoko, I definitely also related to 100%. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
that side of things too, I definitely related to, where it was like you're going through this thing that other people might not necessarily be able to understand, right? You're like suffering, but you feel like it's your fault. You feel like you're the burden on everyone around you. You feel like there's just so much that you can't do, that you might as well also, not be around anymore. And also constantly apologizing. I do that a lot.
Yeah, I don't do that as much, but I used to. I used to do it a lot, and the me feeling like a burden is honestly probably one of my biggest challenges that I go through. I think it's one of the hardest aspects of my personally my depression, where it's like I don't ask for help. I've been proven in my life that I can't, so I've gained the defense mechanism to not have to.
Yeah.
When I could and I should.
Yeah.
But I don't.
Yeah.
So I related a lot to that aspect as well.
Yeah. I think she's a really fascinating character, like you said. I think she's incredible. And she's so much stronger than she realizes. Right? That's like, it's so funny to watch this movie, because I feel like this movie feels like you're just watching people's lives more so than most movies usually tend to feel. And you like want to tell her, like, stop, like, you're so strong. I wish you could see that. And in the same way that you're wanting to say that to her, there's people in your life that want to say that to you, if they could see what you were really going through. They'd really realize, like, hey, man, like, if you could look at yourself in third person, you would see how incredible you are. You would see how strong you are. And I love that.
Yeah. And the movie also shows that the reason that doesn't happen is because everyone's got their own shit. Like, even, like, the villain of the story is probably the girl from the class, the dark-haired girl.
Mhm.
She's like the worst one. She's still a jerk even as a teenager later on. And she literally tells Shoko she hates her and she wants her dead multiple times in the film.
Oh man, she was rough. I was like,
but
wanted
also
to throw
like
hands during the film.
But also the movie, like, it could have made her the bad guy. It could have painted her in the light where she's the bad guy, but it didn't. It still treated her like a human being that she obviously also isn't doing great.
Yeah.
She also is going. Oh yeah, she was literally physically violent. She literally just smacked the shit out of Shoko. It was fucking awful. But it could have been like, she's a villain. Everyone rally against her, and the end of she's still a part of the group at the end.
Yeah.
There's still a moment at the end where she signs moron to Shoko, and it's like, we did it. I'm like, wow, the movie didn't let itself off the hook. It could have been like, there's your villain, we did it, we defeated her.
Exactly.
It's like, no, she's a complicated human with her own shit too.
100%. Which is like, again, not captured in America. We like our little bows on shit. It's like, let's wrap this up. This person's gonna die, so we don't have to deal with them anymore.
She's this, she's that.
I mean, there are complex characters in American films. I'm not going to say there's no complexity.
Name one.
Fuck, you put me on spot. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, very complex.
Damn, Leatherface, you're right.
Leatherface, very complex character.
Leatherface, mama issues, Oedipus complex.
Yeah,
there's a whole bunch of
things. Yeah, there's a lot going on there.
Fine.
I truly believe he doesn't want to be doing evil.
Who eats people unless they got some shit going on, right?
You said it.
I did say it. I sure did. If we can, I think I don't want to talk about the movie chronologically or anything, but I do want to talk about leading up to
Oh yeah.
the big moment of the film and the
Mhm.
aftermath of it, because honestly, it was the most powerful part of the film for me, just like visually and storytelling wise. Like, there's a lot of aspects of the movie that I think are wonderful and great, but what did Old Man Ram say? The other girl feels like even worse in some ways. Maybe she's not. She never seemed to admit her role in the bullying. With the blonde girl?
Oh
Or
yeah,
are you
the
saying
blonde girl, because she never admitted. The other girl was like, "I hate you, and I'm gonna be upfront about it," which I guess is respectful.
Yeah.
The blonde girl never admitted that she bullied anyway.
The brunette almost had that thing where it's like, I know I'm an awful person and I can't stop it, so deal with it. But
Which
she
is
didn't seem happy
bad.
about it.
Yeah,
But she wasn't
yeah.
happy about it, right?
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like that
yeah.
thing. But the blonde girl was fucking
In
delusional.
denial.
That's the nicer word.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the big aspect of this movie is leading up to, it's almost a double bluff, right? Because we're following Shoyo. He's suicidal at the beginning of the movie. He goes to apologize to Shoko. It makes him stop on that course, and now he's like, well, she has to be friends, so I should be friends, right? And he's sort of trying to redeem himself, but sort of realizes he can't, sort of just wants to be your friend, but sort of feels guilty, but sort of, so it's this whole complex thing going on. So we're following him, and we're almost like pulling farther and farther away from him, like his suicide almost, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then is this whole movie is him reconnecting with Shoko and them having this relationship, which I want to get your thoughts on their relationship also. But leading up to the point where they get to the fireworks, right before that, you find out Shoko is in all these like little bits. She's also going through it, and she's
Yeah.
not doing well. And then the grandmother passes away, and it seemed like that was one of the only people she can relate with. And then it cuts to, they go to the fireworks. She goes back home to study. Her sister tells Shoyo, oh, go get my camera for me. Which, as soon as it happens, I was like, a little contrived, but I'll deal with it. Something's about to happen.
Sure.
And he gets to the house, and Shoko is on the banister watching the fireworks and about to jump.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole momentum to get to this point and this final scene.
Yeah.
It wasn't the final scene. It was like 2/3 of the way through the movie.
Sure.
But it was so beautiful. It was so gripping and captivating that I don't know if I've ever seen anything like it.
That's really interesting that you say that, because I feel like I never thought about it that way, but you're right. Like, it is a very tense scene, right? Like in the movie, in a movie about life, it's hard to build tension in that way without having like some kind of major contrivance or something. But it is interesting that they were able to capture that tenseness, that like scariness, and that like turn for the entire rest of the film
without super villains coming down or a meteor, or like the gunman is finally, but like I think something similar to compare it to was a moment in, do you remember 5 Feet Apart that I made you watch?
Yeah.
The rom-com. There was that scene in the third half of the film where she and him are like on the lake, and they like go on the lake, and she falls in, and it's the same kind of thing. It's like, it's almost like the same, like this contrivance is something I've seen in films before, but this film is the only one that captures like the feeling of like suicide, like that moment of like Shoko, and it does it twice because Shoyo was ready to do it at the beginning of the film too, but Shoko is just ready to jump, and the fear in Shoyo's body and voice in trying to stop her was so real.
Yeah,
it was so real in this animated film. I've never seen it portrayed so real, that like death staring at him
there,
and he wants to stop it so badly.
Yeah,
and he does.
I gotta give this movie props, because I feel like not every movie, but a lot of movies I've watched kind of romanticize suicide.
Yeah,
a lot. They make it
13
like
Reasons Why is a huge offender.
Yeah, and it sucks because that's not really what it is. They're like, oh, like, hey, if you're looking for a reason to do it, everyone's gonna love you and talk about you afterwards, and you're gonna finally get redemption. It's like, what the fuck? No.
Yeah.
And I feel like this movie handled it in one of the best ways I've ever seen it handled in a film, without it actually having to happen too, which I thought was really good.
Agreed. Super agree with that. And then I think whether you saw it coming or not, I don't think is important, but the triple bluff now because Shoyo saves Shoko. And it's like, ugh, it's so good because Shoyo's like talking to Shoko, and you don't know how much of the words you don't know how much of the words she gets or she's not getting, but I know she sees him. So he's pleading with her to live. She has decided to die. She is falling to her death. It is her wish. It is her decision to do that right there at that moment. And he pleads with her to please still live. And she says yes. Not verbally, because she's like
sure.
because she climbs back up.
Yeah.
And then he falls and goes into a coma, falls down to almost his death.
Yeah.
And then we get to follow Shoko for a second,
which
we
is nice
weren't doing
too.
for the whole film.
Yeah, because I felt like you said earlier, I was waiting for her to get her moment in the sun. The first time I watched it, I kept being like, okay, where is Shoko? Are we going to switch perspectives now? And they finally did it sort of at the end of the movie.
Yeah, because he was in a coma.
And I like that.
And
oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, please.
I was going to say, I like that in that moment when they do switch perspectives, that she is also going through a similar process to Shoya, where she is like, okay, I have to talk to people about what happened and address it instead of just trying to like be friends with everyone, just like have several conversations with everyone about what happened.
Yeah. And I think that journey was really great too. I mean, I think I love the family dynamic of everything of in that moment when she had to wrap everything up, getting the family back on the same side and like all together. And gosh, I just the Shoko's mom.
Oh yeah, let's talk about Shoko's mom. She threw hands in the movie, and
a couple different times.
I don't know if I agree with it, but it was.
Did she rip Shoko's mom's earring off?
Yes.
Wow.
So the several times she throws hands, right? She ripped Shoya's mom's earrings out after he had removed the earplug from Shoko
and scarred her.
She also ended up fighting with Naoko, the girl with the purple hair. Was there another time she ended up fighting?
I think she threw hands at Shoyo at some point.
I think she slapped Shoyo too.
I think so.
So
regardless,
I liked it. I was into it.
And I think I was too. I think they captured the mom who just felt helpless and just like she clearly didn't understand her daughter, but she was clearly heartbroken and like didn't know what to do about it and just like was so angry at the world for treating her baby like shit. Yeah. And it just felt super real and honest and like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, it felt like, I think there were two aspects to this that felt real, right? Like I think both moms felt like very real characters as well, when they could have been pretty much non-existent if the writer wanted to make it that way, because it's not about them. But I think it gives you better insight into both of their home lives if you see what's going on around them, because yes, they have the school aspect of things, but it's often also the stuff going on at home that kind of like really makes a person who they are.
Yeah.
And seeing both of the moms and the like importance that they had in their kids' lives and their characters, I think was really helpful for the story too.
Agreed. And I will say, I think one of my favorite characters was the sister. Shoko's sister was so funny and great and compassionate and interesting. And the fact that the fact that she introduces herself as Shoko's boyfriend at the beginning was so funny.
I feel like I feel like he assumed it was her boyfriend, and then she just never corrected it. Did she say it?
She said it. Yeah, she said, I'm her boyfriend. Or more than sure she said it.
Did you watch the dub or did you watch the sub, by the way?
I watched the dub.
The dub. Okay. Got it.
What did you watch?
In the movies, I watched the sub, and then this time around I watched the dubs just so I could get both versions.
How was it?
I like the sub better because I feel like, not in terms of like, oh, the voice acting is better, but in terms of like the dialogue content. Like, I don't know if you had subtitles on with the Japanese thing, but I just like the specific choices in what they decide to say is a little different in the American version or the dub version. And I like the sub better.
Yeah, agreed. I usually agree with the same thing.
Yeah.
But it's just Lexi doesn't like subs.
That's fair. I
complains.
respect it. It's hard to like pay attention. It's hard to read while you're watching something.
She'll do it when we have to. She's not like a snob.
Sure,
Like when My Hero's coming out and we're watching My Hero live as it's coming out in Japan, she doesn't want to be 3 weeks behind.
Yeah.
She in the chat, she said reading and watching is hard.
I love watching things with subtitles, so I'm used to reading and watching.
So do I.
If it's in English, but like I get the dub thing because I like with subtitles, you have to look at the TV. Like you're deciding to watch something. And a lot of times when I watch stuff to relax, I'm on my phone. So it's like I will take a dub sometimes. A lot of times actually, when it's like a casual show.
Pre-Lexi, I was sub on 24/7 all the time, 7 days a week. I almost said 6 days a week. Who the fuck am I? But now with Lexi doesn't like subtitles. So they say she's distracted by them, which I get. I got used to them. I think I've always been a like sometimes on, sometimes off. But when we were at Queens in Astoria, I was right by the train. So I was like, I need the subtitles on.
Yeah.
Because every minute I would lose a sentence or two if I didn't. And I don't want to just lose random sentences. So subtitles are on.
Nick.
Yes.
English movies, you could take or leave subtitles, or English movies, you have subtitles off.
Wait, say it again. What?
English movies, subtitles off or on. That's what I care about more. Because I firmly believe you need to watch movies with subtitles on. I wish they had subtitles in the movie theaters when I went to go see them. When I go to see movies, right?
I'm the same.
100%. I think that is normal.
I will say sometimes it does ruin a joke or two or ruin a situation or two. That totally happens.
Mm-hmm.
I will give people that argument. But what I gain, I think, is way stronger than what I lose in those moments.
Yeah.
Because you're always very sure what's going on.
100%.
You see it, you hear it.
100%.
And it's just so clear. And there's something, I don't know. I like it.
I miss a line or two when I watch movies. I'm always like, what is happening? I missed something. Can we go back? And I rather just read it while I'm watching it.
Oh, Old Man Ram said something. Lexi said something funny. He said, even when it's English and English, she says she only reads. It distracts her. It's just, she can't, she's reading. She's not watching. I think it's a little bit of, oddly enough, I think it's the same part of our brain that is like, reads comics so much, where we're like, in growing up and watching anime, I think when we're reading, our eyes are like do, and we get it in almost like our peripheral really quickly.
Yeah.
Whereas I think if you're not used to it, because we do it all the goddamn time, which is totally fair. If you're just like read, watch,
look, read, no, that's
watch,
not,
which is super normal. It's super normal to do that unless you grew up watching and reading the kind of media we did. And Old Man Ron said something also interesting because I didn't know this. He said, I think the manga did give a bit more context on Shoko's mom and why she wanted Shoko to toughen up, why she was so big on tough. I didn't even get that read from the movie.
Yeah, I feel like the mom was kind of tough, but she didn't like slap around the kids. Which is, I think was the most important
I only
thing.
got that she was sad for them. I didn't get that she wanted. I didn't get like what she wanted Shoko. I thought I felt like she didn't want Shoko to be like taken advantage of.
That's what it felt like in the movie more.
But now that he's saying toughen up, I could totally see that reading too. And I would love to read the scenes where maybe she said more on it.
Yeah.
I'm sure she had a speech about like, the world's going to be tough to you, kids.
Yeah.
You got to be tough to the world.
Yeah. And I mean, too, like talking about that family dynamic a little bit, like after she attempts suicide and they go back to the house, you know, they start taking down the pictures that Yuzu was taking of dead things because she was like, oh, I thought if I put dead things around the house, she wouldn't want to be dead also.
Oh,
God, that shit was, I like cry. I was tearing up the whole time. I was crying. This movie, it gets me, man.
I didn't tear up for any of it until I was a little like, as they were about to die off the balcony, I was a little like watery eyed, but I didn't, I watched the whole film and I didn't cry until the movie finished. And I was like, huh. Like it was one of those things where I wasn't processing it yet.
Yeah.
And then the credits came on and the song started playing for the credits.
Yeah.
And then just tears wouldn't stop coming out of my eyes. Lexi tried to touch me and I was like, no, don't touch me. Don't touch me. She's like, what's wrong? I was like, just don't talk to me. Don't touch me. Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. Don't touch me. Don't talk to me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
I am processing. Leave me alone.
Yeah, I do that a lot for movies that are like this by the end, where I'm just like, I'm so in it
Yeah.
that I'm just watching, and then afterwards it all like waves over me like, holy shit, that was tough.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was big.
I'm glad you liked it though, because I feel like I was watching it, and if I'm being more critical, I'm like, definitely cut out 15-20 minutes of this film. Easy. You could have like sped up a couple of things. You could have streamlined something.
Yeah, like we didn't need the redhead friend from the second batch of Friends.
Yeah.
I get the point of it. I appreciated it, but you didn't need it.
Yeah.
I think we're the same. Where we like a tight movie. We think being able to like look at a painting and get everything by looking at that painting is cool. Is better than looking at 16 paintings to get the thing. Like if you can do it in one, you do it in one.
You can do it
maybe
in one. We're busy people, okay? We're in New York. We got things to do. We don't have time. Cut it down.
That's not what it is. It's just like
efficient.
For me, the emotions for things are just so I can think about something for a long time and be like, I'm emotional because I thought and read this whole damn thing. But when it's a snapshot, it's one thing. It's one boom thing. All the things, there it is. It's just more beautiful to me.
Yeah.
It's harder to do. It's more impactful. It's more impressive. It's more, I don't know. I bet I'm scraping at the cusp of like some like scientific or artsy like thing.
Yeah, where they're like, oh, the word for that is actually but
it's like when the whole thing comes together in like a flashpoint of like a moment. I think it's just always been more like hits me harder,
Fair.
So I like tight movies. So this movie's not quite tight, but
it's not quite, but it is good. It is good. I like this. It's hard because I don't necessarily have complaints about the slow pacing of it. I really liked the pacing. I think it really worked for this kind of movie. It made it feel like a slice of life film. Whereas if it would have been super tight, maybe they would have had to cut some of those things.
Maybe.
So I don't know.
Maybe. But also we also got to remember it's adapted from a manga.
Yeah.
So manga, it's like 7 volumes or something. Like you have way more time that you
that's true.
Yeah. So, but yeah.
I was going to ask if there's any other characters you want to talk about.
I don't remember anyone else's name, so not particularly. I thought the nerdy guy was interesting. I think he was
oh my god, the friend. Why we didn't talk about the friend at all?
I think it was at first I like
Tomohiro.
Okay.
Nagatsuko is what they call him.
That sounds right. I think it's funny because at first when he was introduced and he was around, I was like, what is this? Why is he important? I didn't need this. But then by the end, when he had his speech about like, I'm your friend, fucking deal with it.
Yeah.
Like I related to that. Because
100%.
like that's kind of like what I did with you.
I was gonna say the first time I watched this movie, I was like, man, I hope Nick doesn't get offended by this. But when I watched this movie, I was like, Nagatsuko's Nick. In my brain, it's Nick.
And I think now after time we see why. It's because during school you were still in that relationship. You were going through things about what program you were going to be and what you're going to do for the rest of your life, and it was your first time away from home and you were going through a lot. You weren't like, you could have been my friend, but like the veracity, I was like, no, we're best friends. You're going to deal with this. And I literally remember I remember there was only one time that I ever got like mad at you. I got like so mad at you because you did something and I was like, I am upset with you as a friend. And I remember I said something to the effect of like, I don't care if I'm not your best friend, but you're mine, and that's like, deal with it.
But oh, sorry. No, finish.
No, please
finish.
I was just saying that, and then seeing the culmination at the end and seeing Shoyo's like realization, like, oh, like this is like a gift. He's like, this is like love. This is I got it. Yeah. It's just like I was like, like and honestly enough, it was the same with Joseph. He was my best friend in 2nd grade, and I was his best friend in like 7th or 8th. So.
But when I watched this movie, I was like, that's fucking Nick. Like, I remember those moments in college. Like, I hated college. College were some of the, not the worst years of my life by far, but they were also bad years. I did not enjoy my major. I did not have a fun time. I was not partying. I was working way too hard. We had jobs. We like were working in the theater until fucking late nights in the AM.
The morning until
Mhm.
never went to sleep.
Days of
on to
not
the next
sleeping
morning.
in a row. Like
Yeah.
I started to hallucinate because I had such little sleep. I've never.
Yeah.
I just remember the hallucination vividly. Like
It was
it's
the cockroach
wild.
man.
The cockroach man in the hallway.
I remember.
It's
I remember.
crazy.
Cockroach man.
But like I remember of all of my college memories, my favorite memories are the ones with you. It's like when you would drive up to my room, my dorm room, and you would be like, "Hey, I'm outside," and I was alone, ready to just be like miserable the rest of the night and chill. And you were like, and I was like, "Well, I don't know if I really want to go outside because I was feeling depressed." And you're like, "You're coming to my apartment. We're gonna hang out." And I was like, "Oh, okay, I guess." You know,
And I would
those
just
are like
buy us McDonald's and we'd play a video game and whatever. And
Yeah.
then that was it.
those are some of the only good memories I have of college. So I really, really appreciate all that. And this character reminds me so much of you.
Thanks. Daron said, "At what point in this episode am I gonna stop crying?"
Never.
Darren. That was the point. But it was the same. It's funny because I just never I've never seen. There's lots of aspects to me, right? Like
Sure,
you
of
can't
course.
boil
Every
me
human
down to
being.
a
Yeah,
trope.
yeah.
But like this one aspect of me and how I view friendships and what I do with them, I've never seen like encapsulated. And it's annoying. I understand sometimes it's annoying. I get it. Unconditional, unwavering friendship and having the person treat your friendship like a relationship, like you're in a fucking real. I know sometimes it's grating and annoying, but like the movie reminded me why it's important to me and why I do it. Because on one hand, it's giving someone that unconditional love is a good thing, but it's also it's having someone else to like live for and to give yourself to gives you reason.
Yeah.
Like being able to be your friend gives me reason. And desperately in college, I was also going fucking through it. I needed reasons. I was in a relationship that was awful and not helping me. I had 3 or 4 jobs. I was flunking out of school. I was going through it with my personal life and my family life, and to have a reason, to have a friend that I said, my best friend, I'm going to go see him. I am going to find out what I can do for them, helped me so much,
Yeah.
And you see it in this character, especially in the end when he gives a speech about like, listen, you fucked up. I don't care. I'm your friend. I've decided. That's all it is. It's just you wake up one day and you make the decision and that's it.
Yeah.
And then you make all your life choices going down that decision. And whether it's the right decision or wrong decision, doesn't matter because you made it. And that's what unconditional love is.
Yeah.
Making the decision, right?
Yeah, I agree. It's so funny that conversation that Shoya has where he's like, how do you make friends?
Oh,
It was like,
yeah.
I related to that. I feel like till this day, I'm like, how do you just make friends with people? How do you just do that? And you're right. It took you being like, I just decided we're friends for me to be like, okay, I guess we're friends then. And like, also, I really like this sort of in the same point. The X's on people's faces is something that like that really like put into like visually how I felt in my day-to-day life. Whereas like I am so sort of like in my own depression. I am so disassociated from everything going around me that like I don't see people. I don't see what's going on around me, And it's like I'm not aware of what's happening or who people are. I can't remember faces. I can't remember people's names. I can't remember like things about other people because I'm just so in my own stupid shit that I've never really seen that put in that way that this film did. And I love that. And then at the end, when all of the X's sort of drop off of everyone's faces, even like the background characters, and he sees them all and he's able to look them in the eyes, like that really took me back. And I was like, man, like that moment was one of those moments in the film that made me be like, I have to change my life. I have to connect with people. I so desperately want to connect with people. And it's really hard for me to do that. And this movie inspired me to do that.
Yeah, I think it was beautifully handled. I think there's not a lot of things that I think portray mental health issues well. I mean, a lot of them, it's like exaggerated or cartoonish, or it's like I'm depressed, blah 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 blah
Yeah,
blah. It's like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah,
I'm anxious, and it's like, no, you guys, that's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
whatever. But this is one of those times where I'm like, oh wow. Now
Mhm.
I don't have dissociative depression, but anyone that suffers from depression has some of these moments and some of these
Yeah,
issues.
yeah.
So I also related, not to the degree you did, but like that feeling
Mhm.
is something I could relate to. But I think for me, the part of my depression that I related to the most is just Shoyo is almost like his ability to like be in a moment and not be in the moment at the same time, right? Like the way he talks to himself or like acts in moments when he's with other
Yeah,
moments.
yeah.
You know, I put in a pretty good facade, and people who don't know me super well don't ever know I'm depressed. But
Mhm.
you know that it feels like I'm like out here looking
Yeah.
in. You
Yeah.
know, I'm looking at me saying the things I'm saying and hating everything I'm saying
Yeah.
every moment I'm
Yeah.
saying it. So I think that the way this movie handles depression
Mhm.
specifically and is just like great because it had a take and it
Yeah.
showed us like what it thought Shoyo's depression was like, and it really landed. It
Mhm.
really landed.
God, it was so good. I
Oddly
This
enough,
movie's
there was
great.
only one other thing in recent memory where I thought have you seen Modern Love on Amazon?
No.
I meant to give it to you, but I didn't give it to you timely, so I
Mhm.
don't know if I ever will. But there's one episode that's with Anne Hathaway, and it starts off, and she's like Anne Hathaway, and she's charming and great. And she meets a guy at the grocery store. She's like, whatever, ha ha ha, let's go. And then you find out she's bipolar. And the episode goes out of its way to change her hair and makeup, change the lighting, change the tone, change the
Mhm.
music from these two bipolar opposite things. And when she's in her one state of depressive bipolarness, she can't do anything. Like she's like incapable of doing anything.
Yeah.
And that was one of the only times I can remember where I have seen something in media and I'm like, oh yeah, that's like my depression. There it is. I see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and it's I should make you watch that episode
Yeah.
just independently. I
Yeah,
don't know if it's enough for a whole episode,
give
but
it to me instead of Wormwood's commercials on YouTube.
nope. Next week we're doing Worm Life.
That's such a dumb name too. My God.
Well, it's Wormwood, and it's like
But their life. That's
Marcus,
what-
it follows the
Oh
it
my
follows
God.
the whole it follows the CEO and the creative director as they're walking around the shop doing things. It's so good.
I hate you.
You're gonna love it. I think you might love it.
I-
You might hate me for it, but I think you might love it. I legitimately watch it every week.
Why?
Every other because it's so interesting.
I guess
It's so great.
I watch Linus Tech Tips. It's kind of the same thing where he's building
Yeah,
computers
totally.
and stuff. Yeah, I guess
Totally.
I might like it.
You haven't you ever like absentmindedly accidentally watched like a 8-minute like somebody making a chair or like fucking like
Yeah.
at a woodworking
Yeah.
thing or it's that with personalities in a company that you like, you know?
Okay. Well, I don't
Anyway.
I don't have any products from them. So Wormwood, if you're listening, fucking send them my way.
I have two.
I've got nothing, so they owe me.
I have two, and they're older. I would like a new one. So Wormwood,
Wormwood, get
yeah,
us.
hook us up.
Get us.
Marcus, is there anything else you would like to talk about for
Ooh.
a silent voice?
No, I mean it won a bunch of fucking awards, so go watch the movie if you haven't watched it yet.
If you made it to this point and you haven't watched the movie, you are doing yourself a disservice.
It's a great film.
Oh, for the English dub, deaf actress Lexi Cowden was cast as Shoka. That's in the wiki. I just saw it. I thought that was interesting. That doesn't happen a lot.
Are you ready for another joke? One last.
One last joke
One
to get
last
us out of here,
joke.
Marcus, please. Yes.
Why does Michael J. Fox make the best milkshakes?
Oh, I don't want to know.
Because he
This is on the
uses the finest ingredients. What did you
Damn it.
think?
That was me. That
What
was
did you
me.
think?
Oh my god. Because he has never mind.
What did you think?
Never mind.
What
Never
did you
mind.
think?
That was on me. I lost.
Wow,
I
Nick.
lost.
Wow.
It was a game and I lost.
Wow, you're
I'm
gonna
so
get
sorry.
canceled.
Yeah. You got me. Marcus asked me the question. Let's get out of here.
Darren says, Marcus. It was on the list. I'm sorry. Okay.
Well, she also was responding
She
like I was. She didn't hear the answer. So Darren was there with me, and her
Mhm.
mind was the wrong one, not you.
Mhm. Thank you. I'm
Oh,
innocent
this
in
film.
this.
One more. There's one more thing I want to talk about.
Okay.
The film covers elements of coming of age and psychological drama, dealing with themes of bullying, disability, forgiveness, mental health, suicide, and platonic love, where it follows the story with compassion and understanding. And an understanding involves the former bully. What do you think of Shoko and Shoyo's relationship?
I liked that it was it was kind of romantic, and then it wasn't really like the focus at the end of the movie. I liked
Yes.
that development. I thought that
Loved
if
it.
it was a rom-com or a romance thing, I feel like it kind of would have taken away from the aspect of it. I like that it wasn't the point of the film.
Yeah, but I agree with that. But I love that it was there.
Yes.
I really
Yeah.
felt
Yeah.
Shoko's and their like awkwardness and like all that was like really nice aspect. It was a nice layer to it all, right?
Exactly.
And like how they were relating and what was going on. But like there were so many other things happening and going on. It couldn't be the focal point.
100%.
And a lazy movie would have made it, right?
Yeah.
A lazy movie would have had them kiss at the end. It would have been great. But it's like,
100%.
no. Yes, they like love each other.
Yes.
But like,
yeah.
they're not there. They're figuring it out.
That's perfectly put. I think another movie would have been like, well, these two are in love and we're going to focus on their love. And it's like, no, that's not the point. Daron puts it great. It was nice. The forgiveness was the point and the effort. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was so sweet when she was like, I love you. And he's like, the moon?
What?
And I
It
was
was
like,
still
oh,
cute. It was
yeah.
handled well too, because I think I like that she understood that he didn't understand her, and it wasn't that he was rejecting her.
Oh, sure. Old Man Ram was a little disappointed that we didn't get a payoff. But for me, the reason it worked for me is because I saw that she liked him a lot.
Yeah.
At that point, I was like, oh, she does like him. I see
Yeah.
why. I see what's going on. And it got left because like the things they related about were so important to them, right? To like move on and be people and to grow. Like the fact that wasn't like I remember in high school, and I've mentioned it to you before. I was in love with this girl. I was head over heels. I thought we'd get married. She was like the one that got away. I was enraptured by her. But like the aspects of my life growing up in high school and her too, because she went through things that I helped her with and vice versa, became more important than like the romance between us. So I actually related to that aspect of it a lot. The fact that they didn't get together, the fact that didn't, and it might happen for them in the future.
Yeah,
like,
we don't know.
The door's open
For sure.
you know. But like them working through it was more important than the romance. It was actually felt really real for me, because I actually went through that.
Yeah.
With somebody.
That's really interesting to see that too.
Yeah.
That it is realistic, because so much of the movie is, and I feel like some people might say that that's not, but I mean, as you're saying, it is also.
It was real for me.
Real
Happened
for
to
me.
Yeah, it happened to me. So
oh man, that's good. Before we do the wrap up and ask the questions and stuff like that, hold on. Old Man Rom sent a link about the moon. What's going on with the moon?
Why does the moon is beautiful mean I love you in Japanese?
Oh, that's interesting. That's
famous Japanese writer Natsume was a high school teacher in his early years. The story goes he taught his students that Japanese men shouldn't say I love you. The moon is beautiful is enough. But there's no source. That's just
Why are you saying moon?
Moon.
The moon?
The moon.
Why are you saying moon? What is happening?
I'm just messing with you. It's moon. I just slipped out of the tongue.
I was like, does
I
it
should've kept it
say
going.
moon?
The
I'm not
moon.
looking at the article. I don't know.
The moon. You know, the moon. The moon is beautiful. The moon is beautiful.
Oh man. Okay.
The moon.
Also, I do want to say that on stream, if you join us, there are this. I want to say this before we get into the whole wrapping up thing. There are points that you can get called loyalty points. We can call it something else if we want to call it something else at some point. And as being a part of the chat live gets you points, and we will discuss off camera plan to maybe every month pick whoever has the most points will get like a free gifted sub or something like that. So you can join the chat. You can check your points by doing ! points. And I think it'll show you your points.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there it is. Nick has 42 loyalty tokens.
Yeah. Crushing it.
Hell yeah.
So come join the Just every Thursday live at twitch.tv/nowtrythiscast.
There you go.
8 p.m. Eastern Standard.
There you go. Darren just checked her. She has 146. She said,
oh,
nice.
Fuck you, Darren. Damn it. How are you beating me? Do I just need to put more stuff?
Well, you can. There are several things you can do. You can gamble your points. You can play games with your points. You can do a bunch of different stuff. Just look up Streamlabs chat commands, and you should be able to do a bunch of stuff.
Do I get more points now? Is that how that works?
Pogs. That's not how that works. You get points by joining the stream,
I didn't get more.
having participating with the chat. Donations give you the most points. Nick, if you want to donate, subscribing gives you points. All that
I
stuff.
literally don't know how to donate. Oh well. Anyway,
Sorry,
Marcus,
that's all
get
I
us
wanted
outta
to
here.
say. Nick.
I'll remind you to do that at the beginning of next episode.
Oh yeah, thanks you. I just forgot. I was like, I want to like talk about the points. It's cool. It's
Yeah,
fun.
we'll talk about it more next time.
Okay, Nick, did you like the movie?
I did. I really liked it. It was beautiful.
Yeah. Nick, would you recommend the movie?
Ooh. Somehow I knew the question was coming, but I don't have an answer. No.
Whoa, no.
I would recommend it
Why
to
not?
someone who I think needs it or would like it, but I don't think this movie's for everyone. I think it would be lost on most people, and I almost like feel like some people don't deserve it. They like don't deserve to see a movie like
Some
this. And
people
like
don't deserve it. Oh
They
my
don't.
god, that's hilarious.
that's what I think.
Yeah, okay, that's fair opinion. It's fair opinion.
The movie's saying something. If you're not gonna get it, I'm not gonna share it with you.
That's fair. That's fair. And Nick, if the creator creates another film, would you watch it?
I will. I am seeing what other. I wanted to check out the other movies they have directed.
I just
And they have
gave
directed.
while you're looking
Liz
that
and the
up.
Blue Bird is the next one they directed,
Oh, cool.
and Sound Euphorium.
Oh, okay.
It's about
Awesome.
it's about a band.
I just gave 50 points to everybody. I think it went through.
Let's check! Exclamation point points. I got 50
There you
more
go.
points.
So if you didn't leave the chat in that time, you got 50 points. We can distribute points, do fun things with it. I'll make a
okay,
list
you didn't have to
of
show off,
commands.
Darren. I already proved that it worked. You didn't have to you didn't have to be like, I got even more. Yeah, get out of here.
There's
You're
a way to see like the
196
leaderboard and stuff like that too, which is good. We could do giveaways and raffles and things like that for points.
We'll figure it out.
Yep.
But guys, next week we are doing Worm Life. I'll share a playlist online about what we are doing, but basically we're going to watch the transition of the GM screen from idea to proof of concept to prototype to launching a Kickstarter, and that is what we are checking. Oh, look, leaderboard. I'm 6th.
Nick, you gotta be a better fan. I don't know what you're doing.
Oh my goodness.
Old Man Rom and Darren are in top 2.
The wild thing is, some of these people, I've never seen them put things in the chat before. That just means they're lurkers.
Yeah.
If you're out there lurking, I want to hear from you.
Yeah.
But guys, you can get us everywhere at Now Try This Cast. We respond on socials. You can join the Patreon at patreon.com/Now Try This Cast to join the conversation to help influence what we try every month. And like I said, we're here every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at twitch.tv/Now Try This Cast.
And guys, thank you so much for joining us. If you joined us live, you rock. If you are listening wherever you are consuming this podcast, we appreciate you. We love you. Remember,
Darren says she's the queen of the chat. Get out of here.
come join the chat and see if you can dethrone Darren. We love you guys. Thank you for joining us. And remember to go out there and try some things. Good night.
Good night.
Friends get together so they can try things. Yell about it, it's podcast so that you can try things. Now we will stop singing so that we can all now try this.
Oh, look, now I'm
Hell
frozen.
yeah. Oh, there you go. What is happening with the internet, man?
It's not my internet's fine.
Your internet is fine.
My internet's fine. Here, let's test it. Test. This is what everyone wants.
Do the
Test.
speed test.
Internet
I can
speed
hear you.
here live
Goodbye,
on the
Nick.
podcast. Run.
Nick died.
I'm
Nick doing internet
I
speed
am
test live.
downloading at
dictating. Oh, he
860
came back?
I am downloading at 870 megabits
That's bad.
and 807. That's a lot.
That's so low. You should
No,
be
that's
gigabits.
super high. Oh, what? No.
Megabits?
A bit. You're backwards.
How slow
because
is your internet?
You're literally backwards. You're backwards because the bar thing that measures it goes
it's
all the way.
Okay.
You're backwards. And my upload is
Got
189 megabits. That's huge. That's very fast.
Okay.
I don't know what's happening. Okay.
Well, you came back.